You're watching Radioactive interviews right here on YouTube. My name is Victoria. With me right now, I'm joined by Brayden King. How are you doing, Brayden?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today, Victoria?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to have you on the show today. And I just want to start off by talking about the EP that you just released, Live from the Road. Can you just kind of take me through the process of the making of this EP and just recording the songs on it?
Yeah, for sure. So initially, I was playing a lot of shows over the span of the summer, and ever since May, I've been pretty much nonstop on the road, and I wanted to record a live record because although people do like the full band production songs, I had been playing a lot of solo shows, just me and my acoustic guitar, and everyone's asking me, "Hey, where can we get the version that I just heard? Like, I want to hear exactly what you just played." I'm like, well, it wouldn't be that hard. I'm just thinking in my mind, it wouldn't be that hard to record. So I talked to my friend Tanner Bolianitz from Regina, who has worked on all of my released projects so far. And I said, "Hey, man, would it be possible to record a live record?" And we were talking about doing it at one of my shows. And then there was too much margin for error with that kind of style, so we decided to just set up in his studio just two mics. I sat on a stool and I just played my songs, and they are completely live. No overdubs. What you hear is exactly what was played, and yeah, that's kind of how it came together. It was one night. I was on tour going through Regina, and I had a night off, and I was like, "Hey, would tonight be okay?" So I stopped by his studio, and we went and spent the evening recording these songs, and yeah, that's all it was. It wasn't a long recording process by any means, but I'm super happy with how it came out, and I think the response has been extremely good as well. So happy with it.
Mm-hmm. And also, back in July, you released a single called Bad Night to Be a Beer. Can you just take me through the process of writing this song and just where you came up with the idea?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was out at Katepwa Lake in summer of 2020, and I had a group of my friends from Weyburn come up and visit me for the weekend. And I had my case of beer, and my buddy Rylan had his case of beer, and he said, "Braden, every single time we get together, man, it's a bad night to be a beer." And like that stuck with me. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So I wrote that down on my phone. We kept having a good time. And then I think it was like a day or two later, I was at my job. I was working a maintenance job at Katepwa, and I was just kind of chilling in the truck. I had a coworker, and we were just kind of goofing around, not doing a whole lot. And I was like, "Oh man, I just had this idea like to write this song," and I wrote all of the lyrics in 15 minutes on the back of that truck. We just sat there, and then I got home and barely even talked to my parents. I went right to my little home studio and I recorded the entire first demo, which is like 80% of the way, like the exact same of what you hear on the record. Like I didn't change a whole lot. And then I kind of sat with the song for a long time because I was like, well, I can't release this song in like March. Like it just wouldn't work. It's a summer party song, so the anticipation was really built up for quite some time around the song, and then finally released it in July. It was mainly recorded remotely because of the state of the pandemic at that time. So I had my friend Cooper Ray record the drums in Edmonton here at McEwen Studios, and then everything else was tracked remotely. I had a guy named Steve Cameron play the bass, and he just recorded straight out of his house. Cameron Heron played rhythm guitar, and he recorded out of his house. The rest of the guitars I played, like the acoustic and everything, and then actually Dane Von Hagen from Dead Levy played slide guitar on the song, which now, like before that session, I was like, okay, yeah, let's just throw in a couple things. And now I can't imagine the song without what he put on there. It, like really just, um, it changed the whole vibe of the song. And as soon as he played everything that he was playing, I was like, okay, it's cool. And Dane was living out of Katepwa at the time and working there, so we were just hanging out constantly. So I just called him over one night, set up in my home studio. We just recorded straight out of my garage. I recorded the vocals in my in my parents' closet. Like it was very do it yourself, and then I just sent all the files to Tanner, and it was a lot of back and forth, and then finally we came up with what we were happy with, and the response has been that song's almost at 4,000 streams on Spotify, which I'm stoked about. So it's like still growing, and people are still asking me to play it live. It's still a good live hitter, and people always know it too, so they're singing it back to me, which is just the best. I love it.
Hmm. And you also recorded a music video for it. How much fun was that video to shoot? Because it's like it's a total summer vibe. Like you're on a boat drinking beers and like just a lake vibe.
Yeah. Oh man, that video was that was a hell of a time. I got to bring out a bunch of friends from Weyburn, and all of my lake buddies were there, and oh, it was just the most fun day. Like it didn't feel it felt like we were just like living a normal day, but there was a camera there. You know, we were just having so much fun, and I'm so grateful to my friend Brian Lee who came out and shot that video. It just turned out great, and we had so much fun. It was just the best, and also huge. I'm really grateful to Original 16 Brewing because they sponsored the video, which was really really sweet of them. To be able to work with them was really really cool. So yeah, the whole thing came together like vision wise, like that's exactly how I wanted it to be, and it was way too much fun.
Hmm. Yeah, and now I just want to kind of take it back a while. So, just kind of into growing up playing music. How did you get into music and at what age and what kind of exposed you?
Oh man, if we're taking it way way back, I think it got started when my sister showed me the Wiggles on TV when I was probably two and a half, and just fell in love with the Wiggles, and like just had this huge obsession, and they were like my musical inspiration. So I had like Wiggles t-shirts, Wiggles jeans. I had every single book, every single CD. I had a yellow guitar that was like I would jump off. I knew every song, and I got to see them live when I was four and a half. Oh man, that was the highlight of my life. And then I think I started playing piano when I was about 6. Realized I wanted to play guitar instead, so I switched to guitar when I was 8, I think. And right around then, I had an obsession for Nickelback, so I just I learned every Nickelback song that there was, and that's what I played on the guitar. And then it grew into I think I was about 14. I had played a couple of like live shows solo, and then finally in the ninth grade, had the idea to start a band. I'd started bands prior, but they just had fizzled out, and I was like, let's do something real. Like, let's go play a show. So in ninth grade, compiled a group of my buddies, and we went and played our junior high dance. And from then, it just kind of sparked into more and more and more shows of like mainly cover gigs. We didn't have a lot of originals, but that went on for 5 years up until 2020, and we played a lot of classic rock, a little bit of country, and then the pandemic hit. Couldn't get together with anybody, and I started writing songs for myself. And I was like, oh, maybe I could do this solo thing. So I honestly credit the pandemic to my solo career, because I don't think I would have put as much time into being a solo artist had this pandemic not happened. And my last show with my old band Seventh Avenue was a drive-in show at in Weyburn, which we had over 300 cars there. I can't remember. It was a lot. It was like cars as far as you could see. It was
Hmm.
crazy. And it was us and Dead Levy and a couple other bands from Weyburn. And that was just a happy note to leave it on for me, and decided to keep going solo. And yeah, that brings us to where we are now. And somewhere in there, I found a country influence, and now I kind of brand myself as like a rocky country guy, which
Hmm.
is it's a lot of fun. I love playing country now. I used to hate it, and now I just love it, which is crazy.
Yeah. And growing up, other than the Wiggles and Nickelback, who else did you kind of look up to as far as musicians go?
Oh, um, like younger years, definitely like the Jonas Brothers was like huge. I just loved the Jonas Brothers, and then after Nickelback, I phased into like a classic rock thing where it was like I actually credit Kelly Kowachka from Seventh Avenue for a lot of this. He got me into the classic rock stuff. So Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Guns N' Roses, Queen, all of those great classic rock bands. And then I kind of I also like a lot of modern rock bands like Foo Fighters, of course, and then Rival Sons, Glorious Sons. Really got into all of them, and then somewhere along the way, I found country. I think it was I always despised it. Like I didn't want to accept country. I was like, oh, I hate country, and then I realized it's the pop country stuff that I'm not a huge fan of, and then there's the Tyler Childers and Chris Stapleton and Luke Combs and John Party, Brooks and Dunn, Alan Jackson, all these guys that I was like, oh my goodness, there's some killer guitar in all these songs, and like they sound good. I like the lyrics. This is not half bad. And then I started writing country songs, and here we are.
Yeah, and when you're writing, do you find like who do you find that you pull the most inspiration from?
Oh, I think it's a real collective of the country guys. I haven't been writing as much as I'd like to lately because I've just been playing so many shows, and it's like that's the focus. And I've always been like, oh, once things slow down, I'll sit and do a good chunk of writing. Things just haven't slowed down. This past weekend was my first weekend off in 3.5 months, which was just so weird. I didn't like having a weekend off. I wanted to be playing somewhere, but I don't know who I would pull from writing wise. I think Bad Night to Be a Beer was really Luke Combs inspired. Um, just that heavy hitting rock stuff, and yeah, the other tunes I don't. Down That Road was really Ed Sheeran inspired, even though I didn't know it was. Oh, I had a huge Ed Sheeran phase too, which I still love Ed Sheeran. Just an amazing songwriter. I got to see him live, which was just super cool. Um, oh my goodness, I missed the whole music era. Do you mind if I go back? Is that
Oh
okay?
no, for sure, go back.
Yeah, I was huge into Marianas Trench, Headley, Down with Webster, all of those like Canadian bands, Stereos,
Hmm.
no, Simple Plan, huge, and I got to see all of them live, uh, which was really cool. Like that was my middle school years for sure. I was into all of that. I knew I was missing something. I was like, I can't jump from Nickelback to Beatles. There was something in between there. So yeah, just a huge like Marianas Trench was just like huge for me, and I still go back and listen to those records. They're so good. Um, so yeah, I don't know if when I sit down to write a song, if I go in with I want to write a song like this person or like take inspiration from this person. I think I just go in with a creatively open mind, and whatever comes out, and typically what comes out is a collection of my inspirations. It's like what you listen to is what you're going to create, kind of thing, and
Hmm.
put your own little twist on it. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah. And when you have a song idea, like say you're sitting down to write a song, do you start with like lyrics or guitar or kind of where do you start?
It depends on if I'm going in blind or if I've gone in with an idea, because like lots of times I'll be walking around and have a melody idea or a lyric idea, and I'll just pull out my phone quick, sing it into my phone on voice notes, and then every couple months I'll go sit through voice notes and I'll kind of pull ideas from there. But if I'm going in blindly, I'll just start playing a chord progression on the guitar that feels. I'll be messing around until I feel I've found a progression that is right and feels right for this song, and then I'll go to melody vocally, and I'll just sing whatever comes to mind. If I can get lyrics to come out, great. If it's just a melody, that's fine. And once I get comfortable with the melody or even a couple lyrics popping out, maybe there'll be a word that just popped out of my mind that's like, oh, let's write about that. And then I'll build lyrics typically after. But then there's a song like the last song on my album, A Song for Him, was completely written out in essay form to poem form to the guitar and melody came last. It was lyrics first on that one. But then lots of the time I'm music first and then lyrics after, which it really just depends on the song. It can really vary. So, and it also depends on if I'm writing alone or if I'm writing co-writing with someone. So, yeah, I hope I answered that question.
And like you mentioned a bit earlier on in this interview, you've been doing quite a few shows lately. How have those shows been?
Oh, they've been so good. I've been playing a lot of like just smaller pub gigs, which is great. Uh, and kind of all over too. Like I've gotten to be out in Grand Prairie, Alberta, all over Edmonton, Red Deer, Calgary, Saskatoon, Regina, Weyburn, and everywhere in between, kind of just like playing wherever they'll tell me it's okay for me to go play is where I'll show up. Like and I try to have as much fun as possible on stage, and it always seems to happen. It always seems to be like the place where I want to be, and yeah, the shows have been really good. I'm excited for some larger scale shows that'll be coming up soon. I'm really excited that I have been rehearsing with some session musicians as a full band for some of my larger scale shows, which is so crazy to me that these opportunities are like coming about this quickly to have a professional band behind me with guys I really like playing with, and at like I've been going to Cook County Saloon in Edmonton since I started university. It's my favorite bar in Edmonton. If I'm gonna go out, I'm going out to Cook, and I'm playing there. I'm headlining there in March. It was supposed to be in 3 days, but they just moved it to March. But it's like, holy crap, this is actually happening. I get to play at that place. Like, that's cool. So the shows have been overall phenomenal. I've been having so much fun. I've got to play alongside so many great musicians and friends of mine. And every time it just seems to be getting better. The crowds get better, and people know the words. And especially now with an album out, like everyone would know the words to "Bad Night to Be a Beer," and then just no one would really know the other songs because they, of course, weren't released. So now Nicotine's been getting a heck of a lot of streams and down that road, and I'm excited to go out and maybe have some people sing my lyrics back to me some more, which is it's always the best feeling. You can't describe it. It's just it just puts the biggest smile on your face, and you're like, this is the reason I'm doing this, you know?
Hmm. And that would kind of, I guess, tie into my next question is like, what's your favorite part about performing? Would it be people singing the lyrics back to you, or is there some other aspects that you really like?
Um, I like just going up there and having as much fun as I possibly can. I've said before that it's like when I go up to perform, it's like a blackout. I will remember certain aspects of my performance, but like I get into a zone that is different than the zone I'm in right now. I just go up there and I'm like, okay, this is performance time. Let's frickin' kick some ass. Let's go have some fun. And as soon as I walk off stage, I'm back to reality. But like, if you asked me about a specific thing that happened up there, I'm like, oh, really? Like I might remember the mess ups, except like when I'm in this flowy zone where things are just going good and I'm just singing my heart out. Like there's, it's just something comes over me and I just feel like I black out and I just my body just knows what to do. I've been doing it for so long that it's like it's automatic and it's the only thing I know how to do. So that's why I keep doing it so constantly. I had a friend ask me, he's like, "Man, you do realize you're playing like a lot of shows. Like you're playing a lot more than like a lot of people. I'm like, man, I don't know how to do anything else. I like I couldn't see myself doing anything else with my time. Like as soon as I'm a yes man. Like I was in the summer, I was working a full-time job Monday to Friday all summer, and between May and August still managed to play 33 shows while working full time. And I just couldn't say no to a show. I was like, yes, 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 I'm there. Burnt myself out a couple times, but wouldn't change it for the world. I had so much fun. And to this day, performing is still my number one favorite thing to do.
Hmm. And what are some of your favorite memories being a musician so far? Because, like you said, you were in a band before and now you're doing your solo stuff. Are there any particular moments that were just kind of your favorite memories?
Oh man, there's a large amount. I think even looking back to like those Seventh Avenue days, like there's a lot of great times that like I spent. That's the one thing that's like you get connected to a band, and it's like those are your brothers, and then when you're alone, it's a totally different thing. So like with them, I have a lot of memories just like on the road and playing all these places, and just it was also new too at that time. Like we were 15, 16, 17, driving around to go play a rodeo somewhere, and like those were just the best of times. And I think being in the Battle of the Cover Bands in Regina was a super cool thing with them, and then that drive-in show was amazing. I've had a lot of great times over just like over this course of being a solo artist. Uh, I got to play two festivals in the summer. I went out with Dead Levy, which was super fun. Uh, I remember seeing you at the Canada Day show.
Yep.
That was super cool because we didn't know if we were gonna get shut down or not. Like it was, we had such an like a vague permission to be able to do that. We just start like there was a family set up on that gazebo, and we just kind of walked in there and we were like, "Hey, we're playing a show here." And they just kind of moved all their stuff, and luckily the power outlet there worked, and we just started setting up our stuff until someone came and told us to stop. And no one ever told us to stop, so we just started playing a rock show. And it was awesome. There was hundreds of people there. It was like this is so cool. No advertising, no nothing, and uh we just had so much fun. So that was super cool. And this last little stretch that I was in Grand Prairie for 12 nights was like so cool. I had so much fun, and I cannot wait to go back there. I think I could go on like listing every single show. I've had great times in Red Deer and Calgary as well. But like, and then these last two shows in Saskatoon and Regina were just like, I could list off every single show and tell you something really good about every single one because I have such great memories with all the people that I've played with and all the people I've played for and all the great folks that I've met along the way. It's like, I could say good things about just about everywhere I've been and everywhere I've played. So, let's just leave it at that. Like, so many great memories.
Hmm.
And yeah, it just every single time is so much fun. I just love it. It's the best.
Hmm. And if you could play like anywhere in the world with any band, artist, musician, who and where would you want to play?
Uh I just got asked this too, and said I would want to open for, let's just say, Chris Stapleton and Marcus King. I would like to open for at Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado. That is that's a dream venue right there. I've seen
Mhm.
way too many good photos that it's like, that just looks super cool.
Yeah. And as far as 2022 goes, what kind of goals and plans do you have for the rest of this year?
um, not slowing down, that's for sure. More shows, bigger shows with lots more full band shows, which will be really cool. Some rodeos and some touring outside of Alberta and Saskatchewan, which will be really cool. I've got some lots more music on the way. This album was just kind of like a tie over, but I've got some big single releases that'll be coming up in the next couple months here, which is super exciting. Definitely the best stuff I've ever done. So it's like I just if I could release it right now and it was like it wouldn't matter, I would just like here you go, because I just want it to go out. But there's that, and yeah, just writing more music and playing, like I said, as many shows as I can, and hopefully they keep getting bigger like they have been, because it's a lot of fun. So
Hmm.
no, I wouldn't say any like specific like goals or anything, except I do have a year plan. Like I guess my biggest goal would be for my year plan to go to plan, which with this state of the world, you never know. Like I was supposed to play out in Manitoba for 3 shows, and those got canceled, and it's like you just what I've found is like you really got to roll with the punches, and that's the only way you're going to survive in this state of the world trying to have this career, because shows keep trying to get shut down, and I'm like, no, just please let us have this. But yeah, just rolling with the punches and trying my best to make this plan that I have this year work out all right.
Hmm. For sure. Well, I'm super excited to see what you have coming out this year, and thank you so much for doing an interview today.
Oh, for sure. Thank you so much for having me, Victoria.